Today's Chicago Bears mock draft is presented by True Classic Tees. You guys can get 25% off with code CHAT when you go to trueclassic.com/chat. That is trueclassic.com/chat to get going with True Classics, rocking one of their t-shirts today. It's mock draft day here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. Our promise to you is one mock draft at least per week between now and the NFL draft, and we got to keep it going now because the Bears have the #1 pick in the NFL draft. If you haven't heard, I guess you've been, out of the country for a week because it was quite a day when the Houston Texans saved the day and helped the Bears out. So that is where we are. Bears will be picking #1 and obviously a prime trade down candidate. Now you look at the biggest needs for the Bears. I've got it into 5 categories, but when you go by position, it's almost 10 because it's the entire offensive line, basically. Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins might be a couple of guys that start next year. Defensive line, you need defensive tackle and edge help. The whole group needs revamping. Wide receiver, if you get a true #1 in free agency or via trade or early in the draft, you really don't need tons of them, but if you can get that guy, that's really something you need. Linebacker next to Jack Sanborn, cornerback potentially, although I like Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon finish strong, but you need another guy to pair with those guys. So that is where things sit as we enter the offseason. Now, before we get into this mock draft, if you want draft videos around the Chicago Bears every single week, including mock drafts, we'll do some draft trade ideas, draft targets, all kinds of coverage coming up here on the channel. Hit the subscribe button, and we will have you guys covered between now until the NFL draft. All right, let's get to that mock draft. And yes, we're using the Pro Football Network simulator, which means trades are an option. If you haven't checked out our other trades or mock draft videos, we've been doing a lot of trades, and we're going to keep it going. Trade alert, moving down with the Indianapolis Colts. And by the way, I mistyped. That's actually to move down to the #4 pick. I'm an idiot. So the Bears will get the #4 pick here from Indy. The Colts also send a second and a third. That's number 35 and number 79. And then the Bears also receive a first and a second next year. And this is the type of haul that if you could get, it gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of ammunition. And if things don't work out this year for Justin Fields, guess what? You have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks next year to move up and go get a guy like Caleb Williams. There we go. Just fix the graphic. #4 pick. So Bears drop from 1 to 4, and you're thinking, all right, let's pick Jalen Carter, Will Anderson 4. Let's get more picks. We're moving down from 4 to 8. 4 to 8 plus picking up a second. I thought maybe I'd get an extra pick here, but I didn't like the board enough as Anderson and Carter had both actually gone in this scenario. So I was like, all right, I'll move back down again, pick up an extra second. So that's where we sit. So at number 8 in the first round, I have Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, the edge rusher, coming to the Chicago Bears. And look, I've been reading some notes from scouts, and I watched Tyree Wilson quite a bit this year, being a Big 12 football fan, and this guy is an athletic freak, and his production has started to match that athleticism the past couple of years. 14 sacks, 27 tackles for loss, 27 and a half tackles for loss, had a forced fumble this season as well. His athleticism is off the charts. I mean, he's 6'5", 6'6", 275 pounds, very explosive. I think he's going to be one of these guys that runs like a 4.6 in the 40 as well. I think he's going to be that freaky at the NFL Combine. He'll certainly be a guy to watch come February when the Combine takes place in Indianapolis. I think Tyree Wilson's going top 10, and I think he's got the potential to be one of, if not the best defensive player in this class, and some scouts have suggested that as well. So we'll see. I think moving down a couple of times to get extra ammunition and getting Tyree Wilson, that's a pretty darn good deal. If you want the Bears to trade down from the #1 pick, go ahead and type me down in the comment section below. I would certainly like to see it happen because you get extra picks and you are able to fill more of those needs that you have. So type me if you want the Bears to trade down from the #1 pick. I'm aware I could have gotten maybe an extra pick from Atlanta there, but just did not love the board at #4. Now, our sponsor for today's show is True Classic Tees. In the old year with a new you in clothes that'll give you the confidence in 2023. True Classic Tees certainly going to do that as you try to embark on your New Year's resolutions. Appreciate them for sponsoring today's show. You got everything you need. I'm rocking one of their t-shirts right now. I can rock this on the shows. I can take this to the gym as well if I go grab a workout after work. Happy hour, very versatile clothing. And let's get snatched in 2023. Daddies, I'm talking to you. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men look great in their tees, and now you can save big while doing so. For a limited time only, get 25% off with the code CHAT at trueclassictees.com/chat. That's promo code CHAT. They've also got some pants, some shorts, some different items that you guys can check out. So go to that link, trueclassic.com/chat, and use promo code CHAT to get going with True Classic Tees today. Appreciate those guys. trueclassic.com/chat. That is trueclassic.com/chat, promo code CHAT. All right, trade alert again. For the first time on these mock drafts, I have traded up. Didn't want to wait till the second round, so I traded with Dallas up to 25 from the 35th and the 64th pick. Still have a couple other second-round picks, the one from the Ravens and the one I just got from Atlanta as well. So I move up with Dallas because guess who was still on the board at number 25? Peter Skoronski, the offensive lineman out of Northwestern. Now, I'd be surprised if he fell to the mid-20s, to be honest. He might even end up going top 10, top 15. But these mock draft simulators, A, aren't perfect yet because the combine hasn't taken place. And B, I think there are some scouts and some evaluators that are worried about his measurables. Like his arms could be very short, but he is a technical freak. I think he's a guy, even if you have to kick him inside, I think he's a 10-year player. Like if you decide to cut Cody Whitehair, save that money on your salary cap books next year, you could plug him in at left guard if you wanted to. You could kick Braxton Jones to right tackle, play Skoronski at left tackle if you're comfortable with his ability. Like I said, I'd be surprised if he fell to 25, but surprises happen in every draft. This isn't super outlandish where he's there in the second round or something like that. Maybe a guy like Broderick Jones tests really well and jumps him in the totem pole right now. Maybe a guy like Paris Johnson goes higher. So we'll see what happens. But in this particular mock, he was there. Could not pass up the opportunity to trade up and go and get him. Round 2, pick number 44, it is Cedric Tillman, the Tennessee wide receiver. And I'm very fascinated to see where he and his teammate Jalen Hyatt go. I think Hyatt goes in the first round. But Tillman at 6'3", 215, has good size, can go up and get it. Not a pure burner, but he's fast enough. 64 catches. These were his 2021 stats, by the way, when he played a full season. Had 1,081 yards and 12 touchdowns, averaged 17 yards per catch. Now, he did have I think it was an ankle injury this year, missed a lot of time, but in 6 games still put up good numbers, 37 catches, 417 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Had he played a full season, probably would have had around 1,000 yards once again, but the injury held him out for a good chunk of the season. I like him quite a bit. He was a first-round talent coming into the year, so if you could get him in the second round, I think it's pretty darn good value. Now, what do you guys think? What's the bigger need for this Bears roster? Do you think it's wide receiver, or do you think it's offensive line? WR for receiver, OL for offensive line. Let me know what you guys think is the bigger need for the Bears. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Siaki Aka, the defensive tackle out of Baylor. This guy is just massive. I mean, if you want a run stuffer, Ika's the guy to do it. Get him in the 55th pick here in the second round. Excellent run stopper. He's about 335 pounds, I believe. I mean, he is a massive human being. And the draft write-up I read was, hey, you want to have a guy take up 2 blockers? This is your guy. So for a defensive line that really struggled, you need a guy like this because realistically, you're not going to go from the worst defensive line to the best overnight. But if you can get a guy like this, all of a sudden an average pass rusher becomes better than average because he gets more one-on-one. So I like getting a guy like this in the second round, and then maybe you end up signing a 3-tech in free agency. All right, Braylon Trice, the edge rusher out of Washington, again, sticking the trenches there. I feel like Washington has a guy in every draft that just gets after the quarterback. I forget the guy who Tampa drafted a couple years ago. He's been pretty good. This is actually round 379, another typo on my part, but 9 sacks for the Huskies this past season, 12 tackles for loss, 38 tackles in total. Braylon Trice is a really good talent. He's about 260 pounds, so in a 4-3 scheme, that fits the bill more as well. And rebuilding in the trenches is a must. On the offense, on the defense, period. You got to get tougher. You got to get better in the trenches as a physical team, because I personally believe building a team inside out is how you win. You got to protect the quarterback, get after the quarterback, and have the quarterback. Well, we think the Bears have the quarterback in Justin Fields, but they don't protect him well enough, and they don't get opposing quarterbacks nearly enough. So those are the next steps. So that's why you got to build in the trenches. All right, round 4, pick number 100, Luke Whitebler, the center out of Ohio State. He just looks like a guy who's ready to blow someone off the line of scrimmage there. There's a lot of centers in the middle rounds of this draft, which I like. You got Van Pran out of Georgia, Whitebler here, John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and I'm still on the upgrade the center train. Listen, maybe Lucas Patrick ends up being something, but he played 2 entire series at center this past year before he was hurt and lost for the season. Sam Mustipher, the guy tries hard. He's a decent backup, but he should not be a starter. Go get someone in the draft to at least compete at the center position, because it's been too much Sam Mustipher the past couple of years. Now, who do you guys think will be the starting center in 2023? Type LP for Lucas Patrick, SM for Sam Mustipher, or type O for other. Maybe it's someone in the draft or in free agency. That is what I'm hoping for. If it's one of the other two, I hope it's Lucas Patrick, but got to see how things play out. All right, Zach Pickens, the defensive tackle out of South Carolina, a guy that I think can be a rotation 3-tech guy, just under 300 pounds. You get him in the 4th round here, and he can come in and rotate. Maybe, you bring back Justin Jones for another year, then Pickens has a bigger role in his 2nd year in 2024. Maybe down the road he's got starting potential, but in the 4th round, I think a guy that can rotate in early on. All right, another trade here. Going to move down from 132, pick up 147 and 179. I also ship out my 7th round pick, 196. So move back, get 2 higher picks from 196, trade 196 as well. Pretty even deal right there. I'm going to take Corey Trice at number 147 overall, the corner out of Purdue. Transferred in for his 5th year this year and was good. Couple of interceptions. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. He's got that versatility. He can play safety or corner. If he could contribute on special teams, I think he's a guy that could help right away and give you some depth in that secondary as well. One of my favorite picks in this mock draft, and quite frankly, I do not know where this guy will go in the draft, but someone's going to get a steal, I think, and that is Deuce Vaughn, the running back out of Kansas State. He might be 5'5" or 5'6". I can't wait to see him height and weigh in at the combine, but he is so electric in space. And in 3 seasons in Manhattan at Kansas State, he put up unreal numbers. 3,600 rushing yards, over 1,200 receiving yards, and 43 total touchdowns. And something he didn't do much in college, which I think he'll do right away in the NFL, is be a kick returner as well, maybe even a punt returner. He is small, but he is fearless. He's explosive, and he does everything well. I think he's a rotation back. The lazy comp is Darren Sproles, but it's not that far off. You want a Bears comp? How about Tariq Cohen? Because I think you can line this guy up in the slot as well. He can run some routes for you. I've watched him play multiple times in person, catches the ball well. He's smooth. His cutback game is strong, and he plays a lot bigger than his size. That is for sure. Dayon Henley, the linebacker out of Washington State, is who I wrap up this mock draft with. Give you a depth backer. Obviously, Sanborn is going to be one of the leaders in that room next year, but you're going to need some depth at that position. I could see the Bears adding a free agent to pair with Sanborn as well. So there you have it. Grade today's Bears mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you guys think it all came together? I thought it worked out pretty well. A, B, C, D, or F. Again, we'll continue to do these. And just to recap this mock draft for you guys, in case you're like, I can't remember it all before I get my grade. Tyree Wilson, round 1, number 8 overall. Peter Skoronski also went in the 1st round. I traded back up after trading down a couple of times from the number 1 overall pick. Cedric Tillman, the receiver out of Tennessee, goes 44th to the Bears. Siaki goes 55th overall, kind of a run-stopping and defensive tackle. Braylon Trice, round 3, number 79. Shout out Chugs for fixing that graphic. Luke Whiteblower, get a center in there in the 4th round. Zach Pickens, a rotation defensive tackle as well in the 4th. Purdue corner Corey Trice in round 5. Kansas State running back Deuce Vaughn in the 5th round as well. And then Dayon Henley gives me a depth linebacker there in the 6th round as well. Also, don't forget, this Bears mock also cashes in a Colts 1st and 2nd round pick for next year. So factor that in because, again, that gives you more ammunition for 2024. And we know Ryan Poles is thinking, you know, a multiple-year kind of outlook when it comes to building this football team. So there you have it. Drop those grades in A, B, C, D, or F, and be sure to subscribe for more Chicago Bears draft coverage. We will continue to hit you guys with videos every single week on the draft and other videos on a daily basis here. So go ahead and subscribe.